After months of waiting and anticipation on what Kyle Larson is going to do for the 2021 season, we finally know where Kyle Larson is going. Kyle Larson is headed to Hendrick Motorsports for 2021. What's going, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to another video. The biggest silly season domino has finally fallen as Kyle Larson will drive the number 5 car for Hendrick Motorsports in 2021. It is a multi-year deal, according to Bob Pockrass. Cliff Daniels will be the crew chief as well for Kyle Larson, and sponsors are not known at the moment, though there is possibly it's probably going to be Lumar, one of them. There's other people have information from the same, maybe Pepsi could be one of those, and maybe some of those Chevy Good sponsors could end up being involved in that as well. But now I am going to read you quotes from Rick Hendrick and Kyle Larson. First up, here's what Rick Hendrick said. I have full confidence that he understands our expectations and will be a tremendous ambassador for our team, our partners in NASCAR. Kyle and I have had many conversations leading up to today's announcement. Here's what Kyle Larson said about joining Hendrick Motorsports for 2021. Mr. Hendrick is one of the people who extended a hand to me over the past 6 months. Our initial conversations were not about racing. He cares about me as a person and wants to see me succeed beyond driving. I just cannot tell you how excited right now I am as a fan of Kyle Larson. I have been a fan of Kyle Larson for 8 years, and I've always said this since he's joined Chevy and been part of Chevy at Chip Ganassi. I've always said I would like to see Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott on the same team going into the future, since those are two of the best young drivers in NASCAR. And the fact now that the reality has happened that Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott are going to be on the same team, even though they knew this was going to happen months ago, it's just crazy. It blows my mind that they're both going to be on the same team. A lot of people didn't see this coming, before the pandemic happened. I think a lot of people thought that Kyle Larson was going to go to a Stewart-Haas race because of his dirt background. And I think that's a big question that was announced earlier today was, is Kyle Larson going to be allowed to run dirt race? He actually said this, and he said, yes, I will be allowed to run dirt races, but I have to always be at the Hendrick meetings. He said, my focus is NASCAR, but we're trying to maybe run some select dirt races, but my goal is to just be in NASCAR. So he's going to really focus on NASCAR. Again, we know that Kyle Larson Racing is shutting down. And we all know the whole incident with Kyle Larson. We know he made a massive mistake back in April by saying a racial slur. We've heard this many times during the iRacing Monza Madness event that Landon Castle organized. We know all about that. And everybody has forgiven her. We can't forget about the incident because it's a bad incident that happened, but we can forgive Kyle Larson for the massive incident. And months ago, rumors began speculating that Kyle Larson was going to go to Hendrick Motorsports, and Rick Hendrick was looking to pull strings for Kyle Larson. And now we know for sure today that he is going to be driving, and it was confirmed today by many people that he is headed there. Honestly, I did not expect the announcement to come today. I thought the announcement was either going to be like a day or two after he was reinstated back into the sport, or it was going to be after Jimmy Johnson, was finished his last season with the team. It's just incredible that Kyle Larson is going to be on the same team with guys like Chase Elliott, who's coming into his prime, and I think he's going to be really strong next year, especially on the road courses. Alex Bowman is also coming to his prime as well. He's in the round of 8. Both him and Chase Elliott are currently in the round of 8 in the playoffs. That's another thing. A lot of people thought that it wasn't going to get announced after Chase Elliott and Alex Bowman might have been eliminated from the playoffs as well, because it's not looking very good and very confident that they might make it. As we're going to Martinsville, they're not looking very promising. They're both probably going to have to win. They're like 25 points below the cutoff line, not mistaken, so they're going to have to try to make their way in there. But man, Hendrick Motorsports lineup average, I looked at the average age for this team, and it's only going to be 26, so you're going to have a really young Hendrick Motorsports team. I still think William Byron is probably going to be the weakest driver at that team next year, but he's going to be improving next year. So you're going to still have a really strong lineup. But I think not only are you going to get a really strong driver at that team, you're going to have a really strong pairing next year, because Cliff Daniels with Jimmy Johnson, while Jimmy Johnson did not make the playoffs this year, I think Cliff Daniels is a championship caliber crew chief. We've seen him give pep talks to Jimmy Johnson, give him confidence, tell him to fight back through certain situations. And we've seen Jimmy Johnson grow, and he really believes in Cliff Daniels. And Cliff Daniels and Kyle Larson believe in each other. That combination next year is going to be deadly. Now, the big question is, what are my expectations for Kyle Larson next year? I think Kyle Larson, for sure, needs to make the playoffs next year. He must make the playoffs. No excuses. And I think he has to win at least one race to not be called a disappointment, because if he does not pull his strings together at Hendrick Motorsports and does a really good job at that team next year, I think he's going to be in a lot of trouble, and it's going to be bad for Kyle Larson. But I don't see that happening. I believe that Kyle Larson is at least going to win 2 or 3 races next year. Again, I think he will be a very big factor at Homestead Miami Speedway, since he's been really strong at that racetrack. I'm really excited about that race. I think he's definitely right now the favorite to win the Bristol Dirt Race. We know he's really good on the dirt, and I think he's going to be strong against Hendrick. Yes, Chris Bell and Chase Briscoe probably will contend for those wins, but I think that Kyle Larson definitely will be the guy to beat in that race. I also look at some of the other tracks. He's going to be good on the 2-mile tracks. Granted, one thing that Cliff Daniels will have to get him up to speed to is definitely because since he hasn't been in the car since before the pandemic, I think Kyle Larson definitely is going to need a lot of experience, and I think he will be really strong. I don't think Kyle Larson, unlike Kyle Busch, I don't think Kyle Larson's getting as much practice qualifying. I think Hendrick cars are really strong off the truck, and, it's just, I think he's going to be really strong next year. I am extremely excited right now at the moment that we're going to get to see Kyle Larson on the same team as Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman, and Rick Hendrick. This was the #1 guy, and we've known this for months that this was going to happen. And I know I shouldn't be this excited because we knew this was coming for months, and our expectations are really, really high. We all think, Kyle Larson is going to get 5 or 6 wins. Even though I'm a massive Kyle Larson fan, and him and Chase Elliott are both going to be on the same team, we need to pump the brakes a little bit. We can't have our expectations too high because, like I said, remember, he has not been in a NASCAR car for a year. That being said, I think as the year goes on, I think he will pick it up and get better as a driver next year. I am really excited, though, to see Kyle Larson back in NASCAR. I've been wanting this pretty much since the beginning. I've always been a Kyle Larson fan. I've not just been a Kyle Larson fan because of his growing as a driver. I've always been a Kyle Larson fan. I was extremely happy when he won 2019 at Dover. I was extremely happy when he won 4 races in 2017. It really was pissed off he didn't make the Final Four in 2017. I was really mad when he drove for Chip Ganassi. And that's another thing, too. I think he will be strong with Hendrick Motorsports as well next year because of the fact that I don't think those Chip Ganassi racing cars are really strong. No offense to Ross Chastain or Kurt Busch, but I think Kyle Larson is going to beat them on a week-to-week basis next year. I don't think by a ton because, again, those guys are going to have experience compared to Kyle Larson as much, but I think Kyle Larson will do an extremely well job. He's a generational star, a generational talent. And like I said, I am just right now extremely excited. And the future of Hendrick Motorsports is growing. Just a silly season has just been crazy with all these moves, and just look at all these playoff caliber teams that are coming in, like Trackhouse with Daniel Suarez, Bubba Wallace going to 23XI Racing next year, and that's Toyota's going to be back with Joe Gibbs. Hendrick Motorsports lineup is getting stronger. Rudy Fugle going over to William Byron. I think that also will help William Byron next year. Even though I say he's still going to be the weakest link next year, I think Rudy Fugle will help be the big reason that William Byron improves since those guys have worked together, and I think that is a major, major helper to a guy like William Byron. And also just in general, the craziness, silly season, like other moves. Again, we don't know where Corey LaJoie is going. We know Ty Dillon is going. Those are the last 2 drivers. Really, we're not sure. Gone Brothers Racing looks like they're probably going to end up being a part-time team next year. I've been hearing rumblings about that. Rumors are is that those 2 will end up being Aspire, and that will pretty much be silly season. I mean, silly season pretty much came to a close today. This is pretty much it. This is the last major silly season domino to fall, and this is the biggest one. This is definitely the biggest silly season move of 2020. I am extremely excited for next year. I'm really extremely excited to see what Kyle Larson can do. I know he hasn't been in a car for a year, but I cannot wait to see what Kyle Larson is going to do next year in the 5 car for Hendrick Motorsports. Can't wait for the sponsors to be announced, and cannot wait to see what happens in 2020. Anyway, like I said, that is going to be it for today's video. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel, notifications so you can be notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Links description below for that. And comment your thoughts on today's video. How do you think that Kyle Larson is going to do next year? Do you think he's going to really struggle next year? Or do you think he's going to do better than he did at Chip Ganassi Racing in his first year at Hendrick Motorsports? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you do like and subscribe to the channel so YouTube can recommend these videos out to you guys and more content for more great people. If you do that, I really appreciate it. Anyway, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video, and I will see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.